Hello! Happy Wednesday. If I look flustered at all, it's because the last minute and a half, I've almost tripped over myself twice. Like literally. My light's over there. I moved my cubie, which is my under desk elliptical. I actually removed it from under my desk for a while, and I just moved it to over by the window, and I managed to back into it. And literally, like, if it wasn't for my window ledge, I would have been on the floor literally 60 seconds before this started. It's a hot mess. I just got upstairs. It has been a day. Be blessed by my no makeup face because that's just the way that the day is going. So, regardless, I am glad you all are here with me today. I actually have a topic. Kind of sort of. We'll see how well the topic sticks. But it is in the title Fit to Fat to Fit. And it is something that I discovered on Hulu. So let's see who all is here. Andy coming in clutch with the first comment. Hello, good to see you. Paulette is here, and Lissa's here, and Julie is here. Happy Wednesday, Andy. And Tressa is here. Lauren's here. Yes, I love the roll call coming in. I love the roll call. Oh, thank you. That's very, very sweet of you. The light is filtering things a little bit, which is kind of nice. But I was just like, today I was originally gonna film today, and y'all, I'm so ahead on my videos that I'm like, it's not even an urgent need. I can film tomorrow. And with the way that my day started, it was not practical. I did not get all of my steps in today, which is fine because I got an exorbitant amount of steps the last 2 days, and apparently I just needed a break. So I just today was a much slower day, and we also started the day. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. We started the day by getting up. My husband and I got up at the same time this morning because I had to have little Miss Gracie to the vet by 7 o'clock this morning because she had a vet teeth cleaning. And for those of you that don't know, vet teeth cleanings for dogs means they put them under. So puppy girl got some anesthesia delivered to her. I was kind of frustrated by this. Like, I understand why you gather all of the animals you're going to work on first thing in the morning, but I literally got a call from the vet at like 12:45, or maybe even later than that, maybe closer to 1, saying that she had just gone under anesthesia. I was like, you had me get her there at 7 to put her under at 1. This poor dog, probably traumatized. I mean, they're really good people over there. I actually really, really like our vet, but it just felt so bad for her. And then I get a phone call, and they do all the dental workout. This will actually like glide right into my high and low because this was one of my lows, was putting poor Gracie through this. But two of her back teeth had abscesses in them. I don't know the proper terminology, but they were like infected and stuff. So she had to get 2 teeth pulled today. So she had extraction. Still no doohickey. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you about the doohickey. Where are you chatting? Look at Andy, look where you're typing, and look right underneath to see if there are any options there with like a little dollar sign or anything. It should be like send. I don't know because I've never actually looked at an iPad, but I think it's on the phone, and I know it's on the computer. So I can't help you. But so so they had to pull 2 of her teeth. And so it went from just like a routine cleaning to like now she has pain medication that just for 2 nights. Thankfully, they gave me liquid pain medication in pre-dosed syringes. Giving her medication this evening was the easiest it's ever been to give her medication ever. Ever. It was great. And but she's on pain meds now, and then the poor dog now has to do like soft food for 14 days. She can't play with like any of her like rope toys or rubber toys and things like that. And so it actually like turned into a thing. And this poor dog, the icing on the cake was, if you saw my Instagram, I shared a picture of her after she had just felt betrayed by a piece of cheese, because my husband was right. We noticed that she only eats on one side of her face. That's what she looks like. Turns out it's her right side of her face, which is where the teeth were removed. So the first thing she did when she decided that she was ready to try and eat something, I was being generous, mommy, and I gave her people food. I gave her a piece of cheese, a little piece. And she went and she picked it up, chomp, chomp, spit it out, and the sad I can't even, like, the Sarah McLachlan commercial dogs don't have anything on what I saw out of my dog after she chomped on that piece of cheese. It was so sad, like, her whole demeanor just oh, it was heartbreaking. She was, like, both furious and utterly devastated by the pain that this piece of cheese caused her, and it was oh my gosh, my poor mommy heart broke. I was was sad, but also I was laughing because it's also hilarious to see her so like, in just such a state, because she's usually so, like, stubborn and this and that, and I'm like, "Oh, my poor babe, my poor babe." So that's my low, um, is dealing with that poor little girl. Oh my gosh, it was so sad. I hope time goes quickly for her too, yeah. It was really sad, but let's talk. So I've started with my low, let's talk highs and lows, my friends. So my low, of course, was having to put poor Gracie through that devastation, and she just she when she can tell that you're getting ready to take her somewhere first thing in the morning, panic ensues, and but the vet was great. She talked to me on the phone for like 10 minutes after everything was all said and done, because we were also working with she had an ear infection that we had just cleared up. And so they were checking her ears, they clipped her nails, and she just kept oh my gosh, she's so cute. She's the sweetest dog, blah, blah. Like, everybody back there loved Gracie. So Gracie has the power to woo anybody that she comes in contact with, really, truly. So there's that. My high, oh, good gracious, what is my high? I have a couple of highs this week, actually. I am doing a rock star job, with today being the exception, but like overall, with like high steps on Monday, I had over 14,000 steps. Yesterday, I got just shy of, no, just over or under, just under around 13,000 steps. Today I'm not getting anywhere close to that. But with that, and like my diet has been on point, even though I've been eating the cake cookies that, oh my god, I made cake mix cookies on Monday. Just wait for the vlog tomorrow, y'all. The reaction in the vlog says it all. I taste them live on camera. Um they're amazing. And so my weight has gone, I've lost 2 pounds in like 2 days. And it feels really good, actually. So the higher activity is good for me. Now I have to find the balance between not killing myself, but continuing to push myself. So I don't know where that is. Like I said, today I told the people in my Discord channel, from my Patreon members, that like, wow, guys, today my legs feel heavy. And so it wasn't after the big day, it was after 2 big days in a row that my body was like, what you doing? I'm not so sure that we want to be doing this. So there's that. Sorry, I just finished dinner too. It's like I'm in rare form today, you guys. Jennifer, good to see you. Hi. So it's been a day. But that's a high. And I signed a new client on Monday, and this client is working with me for goal-oriented things, not weight loss-oriented things, which is so fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I love doing macros and weight loss and everything, but I also really love helping people reach goals and be accountability partners and stay on track with their to-do lists and motivations and all of those things. And it's just fantastic. Oh my gosh. So that's a high for this week. And then we had Bible study last night. There's Rosie. Hi, Rosie. And I saw Kim sneak on here too. Hi, Kim. And so that was good. What was my third one? Oh, we had Bible study. It was a small group yesterday, and it's lovely. I really love being a part of this small group. It's so nice that we can come together as people that literally, like, we don't know each other. We really don't know each other. But we can come and we can study the Bible together, and we can pray for each other. And it is such a wonderful thing. And we have something in common, which is really nice, because we're all the couples are all very, very different, and in different walks of life and different careers and different everything. We do not have a lot in common, but we have one very important thing in common, and that is our faith in Jesus Christ. And it is so cool just to be able to get together with these people every other week So this will be a high in 2 weeks, but Eric and I agreed to host the next one. So we're actually going to have all of them come to our house, which is going to be a lot of fun. So exciting. Biggest crowd we've ever had over at this house in the whole time we've lived here. So I'm riding some highs. My low is not even my low. It's poor Gracie. And I just have mom guilt for putting her through that, you know? Um, let's see. My highs and my cut has been going very well, still adjusting to the drops in calories, both mentally and physically, but I've been killing my Fitbit ring goals and I'm down 3.6 pounds since Monday. Gotta love fresh start, right? Gotta love it. My high was going to church on Sunday night and taking communion. I love that for you. I love that for you, Paulette. You hit a PR, full 4 assisted pull-ups, 1 unassisted. Who is this 51-year-old? Low, nope, I've got nothing. Kim, that is amazing. I know you've been working so hard to do stuff like that and put on muscle, and look at that progress you're making. I am so proud of you. That's so awesome. Lows. My throat is still giving me a hard time. I have a doctor's appointment Monday about a potential issue with my right eye. And I just had to take a project off my loom because I messed it up. Oh man, icing on the cake, isn't that's a bummer. How do you cope with cold feet? Andy coming in clutch with the questions too. I keep them covered at all times. When I run around bare feet, and I do run around barefoot, but it is not shocking that my feet get cold. So if I'm also in shorts right now, my my from my knees down are not warm to the touch. They're not warm to the touch. Like if you touch, well, okay, none of my limbs are currently warm to the touch. Just my torso is warm to the touch. But that's normal for us, right? Cold hands, cold feet, all normal. So I function under the expectation of if my feet are uncovered, there is a 98% chance that they are going to be or get cold. So I have to plan accordingly. There's times during the day, especially when it's like 80 degrees outside, I don't care if my feet are cold because they kind of act like air conditioning. Go Rosie, go. Do it. Do the thing. Um and uh so that's normal, right? Like they act like my air conditioning system. However, I've turned into, remember when I was the person, I keep telling you guys, I was the person who couldn't sleep with socks on, and then all of a sudden it was like a switch flipped and now I have to sleep with socks on. For whatever reason, my brain, even if they're warm to the touch, and this is the kicker, Andy, literally one time when you're acknowledging that you have cold feet, touch your feet and see if they're actually cold. Because the mind-boggling thing here that my husband called to my attention is, yes, most of the time my feet are actually cold, but there are times when I'm in bed and I'm complaining like, oh, my legs and my feet are cold. If my feet are uncovered, my legs feel cold. So I am very often, except for this summer, because I'm convinced that like COVID knocked my temperature up a degree or two, because I was actually able to sleep in shorts all summer, still with multiple blankets on, but but was able to sleep in shorts. That hasn't happened in years. But I'm now transitioning back to pants because it's getting into like the low 50s at night. I'm transitioning back into pants. So Paulette, yeah, I'll address that in a second. But there was one night that I was complaining like, "Oh, my legs are so cold. I don't know what to do." And my husband literally went and touched my legs and he goes, "Babe, your legs are not cold." I'm like, "What do you mean my legs are not cold? I'm freezing. What are you talking?" And he's like, "Touch your leg." And I touched my leg and it was hot. It was hot because I'd been under the covers for 20 minutes. So I'm like, my brain doesn't even know how to register what the appropriate temperature for my legs are. Like right now, my legs do not feel cold in my brain, but they are cold to the touch. It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. So how do I deal? I keep them covered. I'm especially before bed, when I change my clothes to get into pajamas, I will put my slipper socks on. I sleep in slipper socks every single night. It was one of my big ticket items for my birthday and Christmas list last year. I asked people for slipper socks. My sister delivered and got me like 10 pairs of slipper socks that I have subsequently slept in every single night since I've got them. I always am sleeping in socks. And I'm always making sure my feet are warm before I get into bed. In the winter time, I have been known electric blanket, and I have an electric foot warmer, Andy. So if I'm really struggling, it's literally like a little electric blanket with a pocket just for your feet. It lives plugged in next to my nightstand so I can use it whenever I need to. And it lives on my bed from about probably end of October till May because I use it every single night. That's how. Heating things and covering them. Good question though. I'm doing Walktoberfest, so doing 10,000 steps daily. Good for you. I'm doing the first workshop as a part of my new online business. 7 people registered to paid workshop, and I legit wrote a 12-page workbook. That's so exciting, Rosie. So exciting. I want the gold feet. Cover them. Cover them. And there. Oh gosh, what are these things called? Cozy Soles, SOLES. I think that's what they're called. Microwavable foot like slippers. No joke. I don't own them. I want them, but I don't currently own them. But that's because I have an electric foot warmer and I have an electric blanket. So if I'm desperate and it's not time for me to be in bed, I'll bust out the electric blanket. If I am in bed, I'll bust out the electric foot warmer. My carers don't like my footsicle. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is so it sucks, but rest assured it's at least it's normal for you with CMT. That is completely normal. Okay? Um 32 here. Oh yeah, we're getting a cold snap this weekend. It was almost 80 degrees on Monday, and the low was going to be in the 30s by I think tomorrow night or Friday night. Yeah, it cooled down enough for me to switch hot coffee from my cold brew. It's been really nice. Oh, I love my hot coffee. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. I know you're a troll, but it's funny. Giggity. Oh. Game changer for me has been an electric blanket. Yeah, the electric blanket is where it's at. Is I can't get a thermal sock my size. Go for the electric, like foot warmer, electric foot warmers or an electric blanket. That'll help, and that comes in any size. Oh no, your screen froze. Did I freeze for everybody else too? Are we back? Are we rocking? People are honking outside. I have a window open. Oh my goodness. Y'all, please let me know if everything is working right. I hope it is. The timer is still ticking, so I'm going to keep talking. So good. Good highs. You're good on my end. Excellent. Thank you, Lissa. Yeah, good. Good conversation. Okay. So I have 2 different things we can do. I have a topic about a TV show, and then I have the remainder of the questions that I have been asked, and I have a couple new ones I actually haven't checked yet, admittedly. Let me look and see what kind of questions I know I have 2. And I don't remember my password. Come on. Why is it that like you've typed your password so many times and then the one time you need to type it, you mess it up somehow? Oh, good gravy. That's just been the day. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I have 4 questions now. 4 questions now. I don't think I have anything productive in the link thing. Yes, I should have checked this before. I did not, because that's just the day it's been. So, what do we want to talk about first? This TV show that I have so many opinions. I have so many opinions on this TV show called Fit to Fat to Fit. Or do we want to do questions first and then do the TV show talk at the end? Cast your votes. Cast your votes. Well, I am not even going to bother to create the banners for the other questions that are in here. We're just going to leave Instagram pulled up and it's going to be fine and dandy. It's going to be fine and dandy. I'm a size 14 in shoes. That's why I'm suggesting getting the blanket, because the blanket is like one size fits all, essentially. I feel like press random keys and I hope I hit the right one. TV. All right, Julie called it. Let's talk about the TV show. So there is this TV show on Hulu. We just got Hulu back because it's almost hockey season. So now we have the Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN pack back. So your girl has access to Hulu. If there's anything I'm supposed to be watching on Hulu, please let me know because I currently have access to it. So a bunch of different things popped up when I logged back in and it had suggested shows for me. And one of them was this show, Fit to Fat to Fit. Now, you know that your girl, for as messed up as they can be, I love me a good weight loss story, right? I love me a good fitness TV show to get me motivated and inspired to keep going, right? So this show, the concept of this show is, so it's Fit to Fat to Fit, right? A trainer who has never been fat in a day in his life. Like you know those people. There's the fitness trainers that have always been fit, and then there's like coaches like me who have been on the journey. I am on the journey. It's not even a been. I am on the journey. So like there's two different, two different kinds of trainer and coach types out there, right? Those that can tell you how to do it and those that have done it. And so it's all the concept is these coaches take on a new obese client, right? And they're all of the coaches are people who've never been obese, but that's not entirely true. One of them has lost all the weight and then stayed really, really fit. Um, but they're all people who are kind of the belief that, fat people are lazy. I don't understand why they can't do it. They are the holier than thou personal trainers, right? So what they do, the concept of the show is they get a new client and they spend 4 months gaining an obscene amount of weight. So when it comes time to start the 4-month weight loss journey with the client, they have to go through it together. And it's a really interesting concept, isn't it? Putting somebody, especially for those trainers that have never been overweight, let alone obese, a day in their lives, right? Um, Gaining 45, 55, 60 pounds in 4 months so they can turn right back around and lose it. And they in that they lose their physique. They figure out, the energy drain that it sometimes can be to be carrying around more weight, the health problems. Two of them that I have found so far actually had to go to a doctor, and one got put on blood pressure medication in the 4 months that they were doing this, 16 weeks. And the concept as a whole, I was actually like, I could get behind this. This is kind of cool to have them. And of course, the clients are moved because they're like, why would you do that to yourself for my sake? Like, I'm not worth doing that for. But that's the whole point of the show, right? And then I've watched a couple of episodes, I've also acknowledged, and this is kind of just how my knowledge of nutrition and overall health has changed over the years too. But the problematic nature of how the coaches have to get to that point is grotesque. It's awful. And at first I was like, I've actually told my husband about this. I'm like, I don't agree with their approach for how they're doing it, because what they're doing is they're taking their super clean, super lean, really active lifestyle and they are turning instead entirely to fast food, junk food, giant desserts, all the things, and no working out. Now, in this last episode that I literally watched while cooking dinner tonight, they actually made a comment in the narration about how the coach adapted the lifestyle of their client. I don't know if I missed that in the other episodes. So it makes more sense if they made the choice to be like, I'm going to live exclusively how this client who I'm going to help lives, which is typically fast food, junk food, and no working out. But the level, you guys. So one of these guys that was super lean maintains his super lean weight on 3,500 calories. Do you know how many calories this man had to eat on a daily basis in order to gain the 50 or 60 pounds he was trying to? Like, we're talking some of these men, and all the trainers have been men so far, are eating upwards of between 7 to 10,000 calories a day. A day. No vegetables, no healthy foods whatsoever. I'm like, "Can't you at least eat a vegetable? Can't you at least eat some avocado? Avocado's fat. Avocado is heavy in calories. Shove some guacamole down your throat." Like, because it's literally the 180 of this super lean to this just absolute trash diet. And I'm like, there in my world, right? In Diva and the Divine Wellness Coaching, there's so much middle ground there. Like, don't get me wrong. The meals that they're eating, the giant cupcakes that they're eating look amazing. Amazing. And maybe I might have one. Not all at once and not all in a day. It every day, like. And then so there's that. So there's that. So as I'm watching this, I'm utterly grossed out by all of the food that they're eating, 'cause it's extreme. Oh. Oh my gosh. But they succeed. They put on the weight. One guy actually struggled really hard to put on weight. His metabolism was so fast, oh, poor him, right? That he literally had to keep increasing his calorie intake because he could not put on the weight at the rate that he needed to. It was insane. So then, 4 months into this journey, so the first half of the episode is us watching the trainer trash his diet and gain all of this weight. They do physique comparisons, and here's what's interesting. I'm gonna like spoiler alert it, but like none of this should be shocking information to you, right? Their moods change, their energy levels change. They actually start to really enjoy and crave the junk food they're eating. And, like, their relationships, their marriages start there's more fighting, there's more irritability, there's a whole lot of stuff, right? There's a whole lot of stuff. They feel terrible, bouts of depression come on, all of these things from this weight gain so fast and from all the junk, right? So they I think it's a great thing that they tell us about that, like, "Hey, these are the negative side effects that are happening because of this change that I have made so drastically," right? And then and like I said, there's one guy who actually went to the doctor, and his doctor told him to stop the experiment, and so he actually missed his weight gain goal by, like, 7 or 8 pounds because his doctor told him he was not allowed to gain any more weight because he had to be put on blood pressure medication in the 4 months that he was doing this. The 4 months. So then so now we've got our fat trainers, right? They meet up with their client, and then the trainers put their client through a hellish first workout, right? And they're all standing there, "Go, go, 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 go. You can do it. Push through." They're being their trainery selves, right? Then, as soon as the clients are done with the workout, they have to do the same workout, and it's the first time that they've worked out in the 4 months since putting on all that weight and eating all of that junk, and every single one of them end up wildly humbled by how hard the workout is and how difficult it was for them to achieve and how they, ego out the window. And so the whole concept of this, right, is with them going through the weight loss together, the coach actually learns and understands what it's like to lose weight as an overweight person instead of being a physically fit person trying to convince an overweight person to lose weight and just believing that they're lazy. Like having that experience of like what it's actually like when you're trying to get started. And it's such a wildly fascinating show. And there's so much that I agree with and so much that I am so adamantly in disagreement with. But overall, it's just been really fascinating to watch. And there are times I sit there and I go, why am I watching this? And then there are times I'm watching it while I'm on the elliptical and I'm like, I'm going to go faster. I'm going to do better. It's the craziest thing. It is the craziest thing. So I thought that you guys might want to be made aware that this show is out there in case it piqued your interest. Kim said she was intrigued. It is on Hulu. Hulu is how I found it. Fit to Fat to Fit. And they have another one like called like Kilo or Kilo on there. And I would watch it, but it's Chris Powell and Heidi Powell. And I just don't know that I have the heart with the Dave Hollis and Rachel Hollis and Heidi Powell. And I just don't know that I have the heart to watch Heidi Powell knowing what I know about her now. So, but I at least have this fitness show, right? Um, which is in and of itself wildly problematic, but Biggest Loser is also wildly problematic, right? But I also find a lot of inspiration in there, even though there's so much that needs to be debunked and understood by the common person that's not on the, heavily dictated or regimented show, that what they do overall for weight loss in that show is wrong, but you can still find the motivation in it. So that was my TV discovery this past week, and it is something. It is something. Did it eating vegetables and going to the gym. Yeah. I would love to eat 3,500 calories. I know, it's a lot. And that's his maintenance calories. What do I know about her now? I mean, Rosie, don't you do this because you have work to do. But the Hollis Uncensored Reddit page, it's just like they're all a flaming hot mess. They're all a hot mess. And Heidi is also just a giant hot mess. And I'm just like, all respect for those people over there has just been, you know, crash and burn. And so I just like I just find her annoying. I find her annoying, honestly. That's what it is. Just cray cray. I know. The whole thing, the whole concept is crazy. So, anyway, that was my TV find. That's what I wanted to talk about. So many wildly problematic things, but an overall really interesting and mildly admirable concept of like, hey, stuck up coach dude, put yourself, like literally put yourself in their shoes and then do it and see how it humbles you a little bit. And they do it, and it's really interesting to watch the whole development. So there's that. Now, my friends, let us move on to Q&A time. Q&A time. That was actually perfect. That was half of the time, and now we have half the time for Q&A. Look at that. If it wasn't problematic, it wouldn't be a good show. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. So as per usual, friends in the chat, if you have anything you would like me to discuss, any questions you want to ask me, let her rip. But until you do, I am going to address the other questions. So I'm going to answer the ones that were on Instagram first. First is, what kind of remodeling are you thinking of doing in your basement? We are finishing our basement. So it is a completely unfinished basement. It's used for storage and it's our gym right now, but we're actually going to like put in real walls, put in a floor. We're going to turn the gym area into an actual bedroom. We're going to put a bathroom down there. We're going to put a storage space down there, and we're going to put a built-in pantry down there because we do not have an actual pantry in our house. So we're going to just do the whole kit and caboodle. And then in the main living space that is down there is going to be my husband's office in one corner, and then it's going to be his man cave. So he's going to working at like a little bar cart, and I'll have this little man cave, and we'll have a bathroom down there, so we have to keep running up and down the stairs, and it's going to be great. So it'll be more space. It'll add an extra bedroom and an extra bathroom for when we do decide to sell this house, and it'll free up a lot of space for us in like we with, 2 people and a 6.5 pound dog really need more space, but, like, it'll free us up to do more with what we want with the space, you know? So, that's what we're doing. We're finishing the basement. This question's from Kim. How are things going with the fat loss? So, admittedly, I have only been like back on track for like 2 days. With the start of last 90 days is when I've been back on track, and I'm down 2 pounds in 2 days. So I can't argue with that. Oh, there's a bug in my room. So far so good. I am the last 90 days challenge is what's really working on getting me propelled forward, right? So that feels really, really good to just be like, "Oh, look, 2 pounds down already." And much like Lissa, it's just water weight. It's not a it's, it's you've not been tracking for a couple of weeks weight, but, it's fine, and it's progress. And what I'm noticing, and I'm pleased with the numbers for a couple of reasons. One, I've been really active, and, like, we'll see what the scale does tomorrow because I actually just ate a pretty heavy dinner, and I did not move as much today, but I'm vaguely recalling as I'm trying different things and adjusting my macros and all of those things. The reason I was the way that I was back when I lost weight in 2012, the reasoning is coming back to me. And I was a stepaholic when I was losing weight the first time. Why? Because it freaking works. Because it freaking works. And Susan, I don't know if you're still here. You popped on here, right? Susan popped on. I have thought of you so much in the last week because you keep saying that all you did for exercise was you did 15,000 steps a day to lose your weight. And I held tight to that this past week. And when I've been starting to ramp up my steps, and especially Monday and Tuesday when I got to those high step numbers, because I was like, look, so all Susan did was 15,000 steps. So if you up your step count, you're going to see more progress. And lo and behold, I lifted weights the last 2 days. Usually weightlifting puts a spike on the scale for me. I lifted weights and I did my high steps, and the scale just keeps on going down. And I'm like, well, look, there's a reason that I was a stepaholic when I was doing this because it worked. Stepping, the more steps worked, you know? It worked. Um, High five tablets. I don't know what those are. I have no idea what that is. Won't make it easier for both of you to work in the same house. Won't it make it easier for Yes, it will. If we shove my husband down in the basement, not only will I be able to vlog freely in my levels of the house, which will make better filming and vlogging opportunities for me, but I'll also be able to actually use my piano, which will be really nice because we're gonna soundproof like moderately, not like extreme. Like if I'm wailing, maybe he might still hear me a little bit, but we're gonna soundproof enough so my clopping, because I'm really loud on that hardwood floor in the kitchen, so my clopping doesn't really come through. And I'll also be able to sing and play the piano in the middle of the workday while he's busy, which is really nice because I don't get to do that anymore. So that's a really, really helpful, a really big reason we're doing it too. Water weight or not, it's still motivating. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's still weight that's no longer on your body. And as evidenced by the Fit to Fat to Fit show, like putting the weight on your body is very impactful, and taking it off is going to make moving and being and living easier. So there's that. Thoughts on intermittent fasting and other diets like keto? If you have been here for any amount of time, you know my feelings on keto. Do not do keto, my friends. Do not do keto. Please, 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 please. For the love of all things sacred, do not do keto. The reason people lose weight on keto quickly is because all of the carbohydrates from their diet are disappearing, and all of the water that the carbohydrates retain go with it. For every gram of carbohydrate that you consume, you retain 3 to 4 grams of water. If you take the time to do the math, that's a lot of water. So when you take all of those carbs away, you lose all of that water weight. And that's why people are like, "Oh my god, keto is the best because look at how much weight I'm losing quickly." Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, um, it's water weight. And then the only reason you lose weight in keto is because it still puts you in a calorie deficit. If you're eating 3,000 calories and you're not that trainer man, and you're an average Joe Schmo like me, and you're eating 3,000 calories with no carbs, spoiler alert, you're still gonna gain weight. Sorry. It's not keto. Now, with carbohydrates, yes, Paulette, 100%. And as soon as you stop keto and you eat a carbohydrate, the weight comes back. Don't do it. Don't do it. Ooh, loaded with electrolytes and other brain stuff. I like brain stuff. I've never No, high five tablets. I don't know what those are, but I like brain stuff. High five tablets. High five zero. Oh, would you look at that? By wiggle.com. Hmm. Well, I've got the search engine stuff pulled up, so I'll be able to look. So yeah, keto, no go. Intermittent fasting. I am pro within reason. For men, intermittent fasting is wonderful. IF is a great method to lose weight, or a great tool to lose weight. You still have to be in a calorie deficit. Still have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. But intermittent fasting is a wonderful tool to help you with that. For women, particularly menstruating women, intermittent studies have shown that intermittent fasting can actually be hormonally damaging. So I would recommend, with no medical degree whatsoever, so consult a physician first, disclaimer, no more than 1410 on your intermittent fasting if you are doing it. I live currently by the solid 12-12 rule. I try to fast for at least 12 hours because I feel better when I do that. But if I wake up ravenously hungry, which has happened several times recently, I've woken up at 7 o'clock in the morning and gone, I need to eat breakfast immediately. And that's weird for me. I'll do it. I will break the fast early if I need to, hold out till 8 or 9. But usually I try to finish eating by 7 p.m. So I ate my dessert as I was on my way, up here. And so I'm done eating for the night. So, within reason, women should not do 16:10. Menstruating women should not do 16:10. Women who are postmenopausal could do intermittent fasting in more extreme manners. But in general, with what I'm learning about hormone health and everything, intermittent fasting is not great for menstruating women. So, there's that. Do you believe that eating tons of carbs will prevent weight loss even if you are in a calorie deficit? So I'm going to completely butcher this analogy, but it is the greatest analogy I've ever heard. And it is from, of course, Jordan Syatt, right? Because Jordan Syatt's a freaking genius. But the calorie deficit and the macronutrients can often be compared can be often. He compared them to running a mile, right? If I give you a calorie deficit as your coach, I say you need to eat 1,800 calories to lose weight, and I tell you nothing about the nutrition. All I'm telling you is how far you have to run. 1 mile is 1,800 calories. Macronutrients tells you the terrain of the mile, right? So, if you eat just carbs, an overabundance of carbohydrates, but you're in your calorie deficit, you could lose weight. But it might be muscle mass as well. You might lose some water weight, maybe not because you're eating carbs. You might actually hang on to more water, so it might be more muscle mass. I don't know, but it's going to make weight loss harder. So your mile, I've told you the mile, right? You have to run 1 mile, 1,800 calories. But doing the carb only route is going to be really, really hilly, really hilly. And the longer you go, the steeper the hills are going to get. Really difficult terrain to reach your goal, right? So, when you do macros and you balance those macros and you start to eat protein heavy and you eat, yes, carbs, but a moderate amount of carbs and preferably more fibrous carbs than non fibrous carbs, and you're eating healthy fat and everything is balanced, all of a sudden your terrain is a lot more even. It's a lot easier for you to get from point A to point B on those 1,800 calories, right? No more hills, straight, flat terrain, maybe even a downhill trend, you know? Because you have your macros balanced. Is it impossible to run your mile with all the hills? No. Is it going to be a lot harder? Yeah, it is. Um, so I wish I could take credit for that analogy, but I cannot. But it's a brilliant analogy. So, can you lose weight with carbs? Yeah. Will it be easy? No. Let me be explicitly clear. Can you lose weight with an overabundance of carbohydrates, but still being in a calorie deficit? You shouldn't. That's the yes, but you should still eat carbs. Please, for the love of all things, for the love of bread, eat carbs. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill. Even in my much more restrictive calories that I have to be in right now, y'all, let me tell you about the carbs that I've had today. I had a banana with breakfast. That my egg holdover was on a tortilla that had carbohydrates. And then for lunch, I had tuna salad on toast. And then for dinner, I had roasted potatoes. And then my pumpkin cookies. There is no lack of carbohydrates in my reduced calorie diet. Um, Nor should there be in yours. Nor should there be in yours. Um, Carbs are a necessity. Yes, carbs are a necessity. You need them, y'all. You need them. All right, those were all the questions that were on there. Those were all the questions that were on Instagram. Um, I've been reading a lot of labels and I'm shocked by how much sodium, sugar, and fat are in foods. I'm doing a lot of crock pot meals. Yes. So don't be as alarmed by fat. Fat is not inherently bad. Fat is not a bad thing. It is hard. It depends what kind of fat it is. And here's an example. This evening, my husband and I had for dinner were hot dogs. Why? Because way back when I got my last butcher box, how long ago was that? We were sent like the bonus of like the barbecue bundle, which had some chicken and some burgers and some hot dogs. These freaking high end hot dogs have so much fat in them. So good fat, grass fed pork and beef fat, like not lean, but like good high quality fat. But there's so much fat in these. They were 190 calories a piece. I had two because they aren't very big, but they're really dense and full of grass-fed fat. It's something that we I don't remember the last time I had a hot dog at a barbecue somewhere a year or two ago. But they were really good. But the thing was like the turnoff is like, oh, look at all that fat. But then you remember that your body still needs fat, right? And it's a good grass-fed meat fat, right? So is eating that going to kill me? No, it's not. Might the scale be up tomorrow? We shall see. We shall see. I mean, I can pretty much guarantee the scale's going up tomorrow because I was not nearly as active today. I just read Lissa's comment. Jesus never said, "Give us this day our daily kale." You know? I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that. Jesus said, "Give us this day our daily bread." It's in the Bible that we eat our bread, folks. I'm sorry, how does the, me slamming on my table come across? Is it really obnoxious? Um, because I 'cause I'm hitting the microphone as I do it. I made sweet potato, apple, kale, turkey hash. Oh, that sounds so good. Crumble cookie for dessert, a couple of string cheeses, raspberries as an appetizer. That sounds like a great meal. Delicious. I had roasted carrots, roasted potatoes, and 2 of those hot dogs. And so it was still like a 600-calorie meal, but you know what? I don't even care. I don't even care. It was good. Was I over today? A little bit, but it was all good things. All good things. The only thing that wasn't on plan is I had 1 small pumpkin cookie after lunch and 1 small pumpkin cookie after dinner. Everything else was, like, really healthy, but still heavier. And, it happens. It's fine. It's fine. Pretty sure when the Israelites were wondering the devil God made bread fall. That's exactly right. That's why I was like, "Oh, Jesus said the bread," but, like, bread's actually really relevant in the Bible. Really relevant. Um, so hash recipe. I mean, she just gave it to you. Isn't it take all of those things and put it in a pan? Super simple. Super simple. All right. I have a couple of questions left over from 2 weeks ago that I have still not gotten to. Do you guys have any additional questions for me? I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you. I don't ever need to purchase a pumpkin cookie from Crumble because of the cookies I made the other day. So good. Now, what's interesting is my grandmother-in-law asked for the recipe after I posted them, and my mother-in-law just said that she made my monthly cookie recipe out of the recipe you posted on Facebook, and she agreed that they don't have very much flavor. Are they supposed to be healthy? And I was like, "Oh, there are so many things that you probably could have done wrong." So, let me preface this with this. I do compare them to Crumble. I said, "Who needs Crumble?" in my video tomorrow, and I share the recipe with you in a little screenshot. When you make these cookies, how many of you have made like the Nestle Toll House cookies and actually follow the directions that are like, keep your dry ingredients over here and then in this order, put the wet ingredients together? I still did that the way that Nestle Toll House would have me do it. So I took the eggs, or I took the sugar and the butter, room temperature eggs, room temperature butter. I beat the sugar and the butter together first. Then I added the eggs and the vanilla, just like I was making the Nestle Toll House cookies. Same order. Then once all of the wet ingredients, I threw my pumpkin in there. Wet ingredients are done. Then I added the extra flour, which I was reading the comment section. You guys, whenever you're on a recipe blog, read the comment section because you never know what you're going to pick up, especially when you're on a baking blog. So, one of the hacks that I got from the baking blog was when you measure your flour, because some people were complaining that they were too floury, don't scoop the flour like this because that packs the flour in and you end up with too much. So next time you're going to do flour, take your measuring cup and spoon the flour into the measuring cup. Do not pack it down because then you'll have too much. Spoon it in and then level it off. And so it will be unpacked and will actually be a little bit less flour and it'll be a more appropriate measurement. That is how I did the flour measurement for these cookies. And I thought they turned out great. I thought they were chewy, they were delicious and soft, and the homemade cream cheese icing that I made probably helped a bit, but even so. So, when you watch my video tomorrow, keep that in mind because y'all should try these cookies. They're amazing. But yes. They're amazing. But like little hacks like that could help. So grandmother, bless her, is almost 90 years old. And so what did she do to measure the 3/4 cup of flour? No idea. I wasn't there to troubleshoot. So who knows? What cake mix did she use? No idea. Did she use a cookie mix instead of a cake mix? No idea. So um but I thought they were great. My husband thought they were great. They were a huge hit at my Bible study last night. So take that for what it's worth. Um, I've seen people complain that Crumble uses cake mixes in your cookies. Right. Well, and that's what helped me justify trying it. I was like, I keep seeing cake mix cookies around. Apparently, Crumble has cake mix in their cookies. So why the heck shouldn't I try this? And boy, howdy if I'm not going to try every cake mix that's in the freaking Betty Crocker aisle. They have lemon, they have red velvet, they have the spice cake mix is what I use to make the pumpkin ones. The chocolate, I'm gonna try them all. I'm g I'm gonna try them all because I'm now curious as heck to know if they're all as delicious, or do I have to add things? So here's the thing, to the pumpkin ones, I added non-measured. I just threw pumpkin in there because I didn't wanna do too much because I didn't wanna make them too liquidy. Little bit of pumpkin, I dumped in a little extra cinnamon and some pumpkin pie spice. Do I need to do that for all of them? I don't know. I don't know. Next up, I think I might try red velvet because I have cream cheese icing left over. And I'll let you know if those are any good. I don't know. I'm very excited about these cookies. They were very good. Anyway, to the questions. What do you like that other people hate? Didn't I answer this before? I answered this one last week, didn't I? Correct me if I'm wrong. Man, I don't know what the best concert I've ever been to. I I've only ever been to music theater nerd concerts. So I've been to an Anthony Rapp and Adam Pascal concert. If you know who they are, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. I've been to an Idina Menzel concert. And like we're talking, I've seen all of these people in musicals as well, but like these are actual like standalone concerts. And I have been to like Christian music and not. Oh, I went to the Fish Fest way back when. That was probably my first concert I've ever been to. So, in Chicago, there used to be a Christian music station called The Fish, 106.7 The Fish. And it was the Christian music station. And they hosted Fish Fest one year. And I don't remember where it was. I remember I went with my high school youth group, and that had, a bunch of Christian singers and concerts. And it was an outdoor festival for Christians, which was a lot of fun. So that actually was my first concert, probably, other than like choir concerts and band concerts and symphonies and things like that. Like legit bands are up on stage. That was my first concert. And then I have the other music theater related ones, but I don't have like I saw Britney Spears. I don't have any of those. I'm racking my brain to make sure I really didn't forget. But yeah. So I don't best concert ever. I don't the Idina Menzel one was good, and the Anthony Rapp and Adam Pascal one was good. Like I enjoyed them very much. Where will you be spending Thanksgiving this year? I will be spending it in Illinois. So we are heading up and spending the entire week of Thanksgiving down. We're heading down and spending the entire week of Thanksgiving with my family, which will be lovely. Will be lovely. Now we have the deep ones. The last questions are the deep ones, which is the reason I put them off to last. Not that it's like necessarily difficult for me to answer. Do you believe in destiny? I don't believe that like every move we make has been completely planned out for us because God explicitly left us with free will. So we don't have everything planned out. Um, but I do believe that God sends us in the direction, or he tries to guide us in the direction that we are supposed to go. He guides us in the place that he has planned for us. And I have seen this many, many times play out in my own life, which is how I know it to be true. And so I don't necessarily believe like, oh, it was my destiny, but I don't actually say I don't believe it was destiny, but I do believe it was God's plan. That's kind of how I say it. Like, I don't think it was destiny that my husband and I met each other. No, but it was absolutely God's plan that he and I met each other. 110% it was his plan. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at on destiny. Like I I don't call it destiny. I call it God's plan. I call it God's plan. Um, so there's that. What is your most cherished belief? The thing that helps you get through every day. And I can't help but wonder, the person who asked this question, I don't think is here tonight, but did she already know what my answer was going to be? Because of course, my most cherished belief is my belief in Jesus. That's literally what gets you through every day. What gets me through every day. It's the reason that I have joy in my heart, even on the hardest days. It's the reason that I have peace even amongst all the anxiety and stress. And it sounds so simple when I put it that way, right? But it really is that simple. It really is that simple. And so that is absolutely my most cherished belief. And it's not necessarily a belief that I half the time I don't even think about it, right? I don't think about like, oh, I'm in such a good mood because Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I that's not necessarily even how I am most of the time. There are times I absolutely am. Absolutely, I'm in the Jesus zone, but it's just such an inherent thing. I'll tap into what we talked about at Bible study last night. We're studying the book of Acts. One of the questions that was asked last night as we were reading Acts chapter 2 was, how has how did Jesus change your life? And I admitted, I was like, I have a really hard time with this question because I don't have an exact moment that Jesus changed my life. I grew up in the church. I grew up believing in Jesus from the very beginning. So I don't actually have a literal come to Jesus moment. I've just always known this to be true. And therefore there's no, big change. There's no big change, right? So for me, Jesus didn't change anything major in my life, but he definitely, gosh, how did I say it last night? Um, my faith in Jesus has affected how I respond, how I react, my attitude, and my decisions. It's not that he changed, but he has had a direct impact on how I have run my life because of this. Um, so that and again, so like I have the positive attitude, I have the peace even with the disability, I have all of those things because that is my most cherished belief, you know? Um Acts 2, that's a tough one for me. It's good. We're getting deep into Acts and it's stuff that I'm admittedly not a good Bible person. I am a strong in faith girl, but I am admittedly not a textbook Bible person. And so I'm learning a lot. I should have known. I should have known that Acts was written by Luke. I learned that 2 weeks ago. I'm like, "Why didn't I know this already? Come on. Come on." Um, but it's deep. It's about this Holy Spirit. It's about spiritual gifts and following the Holy Spirit, and it's a lot. It's a lot of things. Last 90 days. So last 90 days is the thing that the Hollis has had us starting as a community, but even though they're not doing it anymore, I'm still doing it. Um, and excuse me, it's just a more it's a deeper dedication to the last 90 days of the year, right? So technically Monday, it was 90 days until the end of the year. And that means that instead of, because what we tend to do is like, oh, the holidays are coming. Oh, this, we tend to slow down on all of our goals. We tend to let, for those of us with weight loss goals, weight loss, right? And we gain the holiday 10 pounds and all of those things. And last 90 days encourages us to do the opposite. It encourages us to hit the ground running a little bit harder, to end the year with focus and end the year with momentum. And whatever that needs to be for you is great. And so in the Patreon, we're actually, sharing our challenges and whatever and talking through what our last 90 days goals are, keeping each other accountable, things like that. Um and it's great. And it's great. But whether you are part of the Patreon or not, or doing last 90 days publicly or privately, it's just a great time to remind yourself that, like, hey, the year is not over yet. I can still make a lot. And this is why when you asked about the fat loss, I was like, well, ask me in like 4 weeks because I'm hitting the ground running as of Monday, and we'll see because there's a lot of progress that can be made in 12 weeks. There's a lot of progress that can be made. So that's the last 90 days is. That chapter is big in the Assemblies of God and the Pentecostal churches. All right. Here's the last question, and it's 7:59. And this is a great question, right? What do you think the meaning of life is? Our big purpose here. I was being asked deep questions this day. I believe, as a Christian woman, I believe that my big purpose here is to bring other people to Jesus Christ, but ultimately to leave this world better than I found it. That I think is what the meaning of life is. So it's not that you can't have nice things. It's not that you have to, do all these big dramatic insanely big things with heavy legacies and oh you'll be remembered forever. It's none of that. I believe that our job, every single one of us, whether you are a Christian or not, I believe that our job as human beings is to leave this world in a better place than it was when we came into it. And whether that is by bringing people to Jesus or whether that is by, being a kind human being in a time when it feels like kindness is so hard to come by, you know, that matters. Something as simple as kindness matters, and it matters a lot. So, I mean, plain and simple, I think that's what the meaning of life is. And to have fun along the way, you know? Have a good time, be a good person, leave the world better than it was when you came in. That's what I think. So, that's that, my friends. I answered the big questions, which means I'm fresh out of questions. So next week, I'm going to need y'all to rack them up again for me. I had a nice backlog going and now they're all gone. So, but thank you for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Let me know, my friends, try to the person who asked that poignant question. Yeah, it was a good question. It was a very good question. Let me know if any of you decide to start take a gander at fat to, or fit to fat to fit or anything like that. Or remember, let me know if you have any TV show recommendations for me now that I have Hulu back. Thank you for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Watch tomorrow's vlog and then try that cake mix cookie recipe. And let me know how that goes as well. Okay. I will talk to you all same time next week. Take care, guys.